Hey, Equity Avenger community. It's me, Dr. Tammeil Gilkerson, here with an incredible opportunity to launch again Equity Chat 2.0, where we get the chance to really connect and hear directly from our amazing guests. And today we have a simply amazing guest. Viviann Anguiano is a senior fellow at the Century Foundation, having formerly served as the Director of Education at the White House Domestic Policy Council during the Biden administration, where she led the higher education portfolio. She has worked in government and advocacy roles to advance educational opportunities for the nation's students for nearly 15 years, having previously served as Deputy Director of Education and Senior Policy Advisor for the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee under Senators Bernie Sanders and Patty Murray. During her tenure in the Senate, Viviann led legislative efforts to improve college access, affordability, and equity, things after my own heart. She also held advocacy roles promoting educational equity at the Center for American Progress and in various state and local advocacy organizations in California. Viviann, welcome to Equity Chat 2.0. I'm so pleased that you're here. Let's go ahead and dive right in.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Looks like woo woo, we're going to bring the energy this morning. So, as you engage in equity focused work, what is your walk up song or anthem?
So my walk-up song, which is not really a dance song, but it's just because I think equity focused work is so much about focus, is actually a instrumental. It is by Bach, the Cello Suite #1, which is like what really gets me in the
Oh my
in the
gosh.
mode to work. And yeah, that's my song.
Oh my gosh, I'm so I'm gonna look it up afterwards. So I have been like going back just even in the last week or so. I love classical music, but I really started this last weekend. And so I've been listening to like Four Seasons, Vivaldi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It really just like evokes this way of like thinking. So I love that. You're the first
Yeah.
thing to have a classical music as their equity walk-up. So I
I know
totally
it's very, very weird, but it really gets me like ready to, keep going.
It's
So,
not weird at all. It's super unique and I love that. So I know our community will too. So, was there a defining moment or experience that catalyzed your journey to engage in this work, serving and championing community college students?
yes. Well, probably this is not that different from, a lot of people who I think are called to education equity work, which is mostly my mother. She came to the United States at around 10 years old. She's from Mexico. And didn't complete her high school degree. She had children. She and my father had children in high school, and she left high school to raise her kids. And I just always grew up with this sense of education is the path to opportunity in this country. And eventually saw my mom as I got older, teach herself certain skills. She taught herself to type back when there were typewriters, and I
Yeah.
remember watching her and eventually enrolled in our local community college to get her GED. And I just always saw her as an example, and that really led to not only my passion for education for myself, but also for working to make education in terms of a system really work for all people.
I love that. And like just what the sacrifices your mom has made. It's an incredible, it's the story of resilience in our communities, and I love that. So to do this work, we must continue learning and partnering with others. How do you educate yourself and who is informing your practice?
Yeah, such a good question because I think at the end of the day, we should all really be learners. I don't think anyone really has the answers. And
Right?
I think we all could do better by just learning from one another. I try to learn as much as I can, even when I was in government and outside of government, talking to the experts, talking to people experiencing the problems you're trying to solve. I listen to a lot of podcasts and, read a lot of papers that academics write. And I think also what is increasingly important, I think, in this moment is ensuring that we are learning directly from community. And, I spent some time in my career being a community organizer, and I think it's just so incredibly important to be in community, not just drop in like a helicopter, but to really be in coalition and be in community and really listen to the needs and the experiences of people of the public policies we're aiming to solve.
I love that so much, Vivian, because I feel like you and I have a lot in common. I started with like organizing and coalition
Oh,
building and the
really? Yeah.
idea, right, that what we do for one, should be scaled for many, and that we have so much opportunity to do this. And so I just love that sense of how you inform your practice by listening to the people that you're actually solving for, and helping support that. It's really, really important. I think sometimes we forget it. So I love that so much. We all have a vision of the future we want to live in. What is your freedom dream for higher education, and what gives you hope for its future? It's hard
Hmm.
topic right now.
Yeah,
So,
I know. There's definitely there's a lot happening. There's a lot of noise, I think. But I think, if I were to really think about this, it boils down to three things. Um, I think higher education should probably have three missions. I think the first is that it should be free or affordable for anyone who wants it. An ongoing endeavor that I know many are committed to. I think its power as an economic mobility engine is one of its greatest powers. And I think we really need to strengthen that to make sure that as students are enrolling in programs, they are leading to good jobs, they are happy and moving up the economic mobility ladder because of their higher education um, training. And then the last is, I think higher ed is really what makes it such an incredible concept, I think, in our country. It's that it's based in knowledge and discovery. And I think for our higher education system to flourish, we really need to make sure that knowledge and discovery continue to be a part of not only the American citizenry so that they can participate in their democracy effectively and critically, but also so that, the United States can lead in innovation and design in the world, not only for, things like smartphones and things that, are in the technology industry, but that really help the betterment of humanity and of people around the world. So I hope that higher ed, I have a lot of belief in higher ed. And what brings me hope around that is that there's so many people in this work who have been doing this work for such a long time and so much resilience, to your point, that I think with persistence and learning from one another, we can continue to push those missions forward.
yeah, centering learning. I love that, Vivian, right? Like this idea. And I love your three prong, like sort of approach to thinking about higher education. It certainly speaks to my heart and the work that we need to do just to continue to provide access. And what I really see is something that you're talking about, which is generational impact, right? We know just how you transform generations and families and lives by access to education. So, yeah, I was like, okay, I'm now feeling hopeful
Absolutely.
this morning after talking to you. I love it. So,
We're very much on the same wavelength.
yep. I was like, oh my gosh, my new bestie. I'm gonna have to like figure out how to come see you. So, well, we often say in the Equity Avengers that the road to racial equity is long, right? And we talk about that with the arc of justice and all these kind of things too. So, how are you sustaining yourself? I could use some good tips. And, what practices would you recommend to other Equity Avengers?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing I'll say here is that I think it's very easy in this line of work to withdraw and to sort of feel like despair and like nothing is going to get better and to sort of be in a lonely space. But something that I have been practicing a lot over the last few years is this belief in interconnectedness. It's a concept in Buddhism called interbeing, which is basically this idea that it's an understanding that nothing really exists from any separate from anything else. And so when you withdraw in despair, that has a ripple effect on movement building, on justice work, on the environment. But when you take the opposite approach and you focus on transforming that feeling of despair into connecting with others, into feeling joy, into living your life, I think we'll find that that will strengthen equity work and justice work too. So a lot of the things that I do are right now really focused on that. Like I travel to places where this belief is really held. I was in Hawaii and Vietnam recently. I
Oh,
play a lot with my nieces and nephews and like
nice.
get, a lot of fun doing that. I also, seek things that make me feel connected to the environment, like a lot of hiking and being in the water and things like that. And then I also exercise. I think like it's as much of a practice of the mind as it is of the body. I mean, I probably should exercise more, but
Me
we
too.
have to move our bodies. We have to move our bodies if we want to be sustained. So that's what I do.
I love it. I just think that, right, the whole body and spirit, you bring it to the work, you bring it to the thing. But I think we should all be going and chasing joy and really choosing to be connected. And so that's what I'm going to leave today with. Um, and just really appreciate this equity. We're calling it a chat, but I kind of think it's an equity bite with the brilliance of you, Viviann Anguiano. Thank you so much for joining us today and for giving us a little bit of a tidbit about sort of the ways in which you're thinking about the work that we're doing and the ways that you're centering yourself. And I'm going to go listen to that Bach right after this when we're done. So I want to just thank everybody for joining us for this Equity Chat 2.0 and remind you to, follow the Equity Avengers on LinkedIn, X, Blue Sky, and sign up for information at equityavengers.com. Looking forward to seeing y'all next time. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, Tamia. This was fun. Bye.